What's up, what's up? This is Beyonce on the red carpet with one of the hottest female artists out here, Miss Aaliyah. How you doing, girl?
It's so good to see you.
You too. She's just looking fabulous. What are you wearing tonight?
I'm wearing Gucci shoes, Gucci. Got a little Indian jewelry working.
Oh, that is hot. All right.
Aaliyah Donna Houghton, also known as Aaliyah, was a groundbreaking artist whose influence still resonates today. Born on January 16, 1979 in Brooklyn and raised in Detroit, Aaliyah was destined for stardom. By the age of 15, she released her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, in 1994, which announced her as a new kind of R&B star, cool, mysterious, and effortlessly stylish. Aaliyah entered the music scene at a time when R&B was evolving, her sound crafted in collaboration with then-producer R. Kelly and later with Timbaland and Missy Elliott, and it was a futuristic and genre-defying, blending smooth vocals with electronic beats, hip-hop rhythms, and innovative production. Albums like One in a Million in 1996 and Aaliyah in 2001 redefined what R&B could sound like. Songs like Are You That Somebody, Try Again, and Rock the Boat weren't just hits. There were moments that helped shape the sound of late 90s and early 2000s music.
If we keep bumping heads, I know that one will love it, baby, 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 love it, baby.
In the late 1990s and early 2000s, Aaliyah was the it girl. She had a magnetic presence, her stylish, mysterious, and yet approachable. She set trends with her signature look, with low-rise jeans, crop tops, bandanas, and sleek hair. Her image was tomboyish but yet feminine. She wasn't just a singer, she was a style icon. But Aaliyah was more than just a pretty face. She was also a talented actress. Her film debut in Romeo Must Die in 2000 alongside Jet Li proved her star power on the big screen. She was in the middle of filming the Matrix sequels and had completed Queen of the Damned, where she played the vampire Akasha, which was a dark, bold role that showed her range and charisma as an actress. Despite her success, Aaliyah's career wasn't without struggles. Her controversial relationship and marriage to R. Kelly when she was just 15 years old would later become a dark cloud over her early years. Though she rarely spoke publicly about it, the emotional impact of that time followed her throughout her life. Yet she emerged from that scandal with dignity, rebranding herself and taking full control of her image and career. She was known for her professionalism, her calm presence, and a maturity beyond her years. People who worked with her often describe her as humble, hardworking, and wise. But behind the scenes, Aaliyah was someone who navigated fame carefully and with grace, never flashy and always composed.
First met Aaliyah. It's time for the world to hear this. I'm gonna give up a little secret. I was in love with her. I said, but I'm not, she's just a baby. I'm old. I said to myself, I'm just gonna be her brother. Oh man, I was fighting a big war. But I loved Aaliyah.
Just 15 years old, Aaliyah debuted with an album that combined innocence with maturity. The production, handled primarily by R. Kelly, brought a sultry yet reserved sound that stood out. The title track Age Ain't Nothing But a Number was controversial in hindsight, but it was a commercially successful song. And Back and Forth and her cover At Your Best You Are Loved by the Isley Brothers became an R&B staple. This album introduced Aaliyah as a rising star with a smooth voice, streetwise appeal, and subtle charisma, an immediate standard among young female artists. When Aaliyah dropped One in a Million in 1996, that was huge, and this was Aaliyah's transformation moment. With One in a Million, she broke away from the shadow of R. Kelly, thankfully, and took full artistic control. She teamed up with two relatively unknown producers at that time, with Timbaland and Missy Elliott, who brought her into an entirely new soundscape. The futuristic beats, unorthodox rhythms, and whispered vocals were unlike anything else in R&B at the time. Tracks like If Your Girl Only Knew, 4-Page Letter, Hot Like Fire, and the title track One in a Million became instant classics. The album was both critically acclaimed and a massive commercial success, especially in Europe and Japan, and positioned Aaliyah as a global trendsetter. One in a Million is often cited as one of the most influential R&B albums of the 90s.
I'm sending him a 4-page letter, and I enclosed it with a kiss. And when I write him, he better get it on time. I'm sending him.
Then her self-titled album Aaliyah in 2001 was a bold, mature and genre-bending project. Aaliyah took more artistic risks, blending alternative R&B with neo-soul, pop and even rock elements. The production was again handled by Timbaland and Static Mayer, God rest his soul, and other collaborators, creating a rich sonic palette. Standout tracks include We Need a Resolution, the beat is amazing, More Than a Woman, Rock the Boat, and I Care For You. Critics praised Aaliyah as an artistically confident and daring record. Tragically, she died just over a month after its release, and the album soared in the charts posthumously, debuting at number 1 on the Billboard 200. It went on to receive Grammy nominations and cemented her status as one of the most visionary voices in contemporary R&B.
She was our age, and it's just scary because that could have been any one of us. And she was an angel, and I know that now she's with God.
And to be honest, comparing Aaliyah and then now I will talk more about Beyonce is like comparing two galaxies. Both were like powerful and game-changing, but very different in the way they shine. But I will break it down, not just in terms of who was better or bigger, but in terms of what each of them represented and how they moved through the industry and what their careers might have looked like side by side. Now, Beyonce came up through Destiny's Child in the late 90s, around the same time as Aaliyah was peaking, and she was the voice and the face of the group. Her vocals were powerful, her performances were amazing, and her confident, but she was always framed as a leader, a perfectionist, and a once-in-a-generation talent. When she went solo with Dangerously in Love in 2003, she launched what would become one of the most carefully crafted and enduring careers in music history. She's got the vocals, the dancing, the visuals, the business mind, and the longevity. With 8 studio albums, 28 Grammy wins, the most for a woman, Coachella headliners with Beychella, which was historic, successful film ventures with Dreamgirls and The Lion King, and cultural influence on feminism, black pride, fashion, visual arts, and music ownership.
Woman, and when I think, I must speak.
Men have been given the chance to rule the world. But ladies, our revolution has begun. Let's build a nation. Women everywhere. Run the world.
So would Aaliyah have been bigger than Beyonce? Well, she was already doing it all with singing, acting, and fashion at only 22. Her third album, Aaliyah, showed major artistic growth. She was moving into a more mature and experimental direction, just like Beyonce would a few years later. And the industry was ready for a new kind of global icon, with one with elegance, mystery, and edge. She did open the doors for artists like Ciara, Tinashe, Normani, and yes, even Beyonce in some way. Her collaboration with Timbaland, Missy, and Static Mayer were pushing boundaries that most artists weren't even close to touching at the time. And Aaliyah had the potential to be a Rihanna-Beyonce hybrid, mixing music, film, fashion, and cultural coolness. But here's the thing, like Beyonce is not just a big star, she's a machine and a movement. She didn't just ride the wave, she became the wave in some way. She built Parkwood Entertainment, controlled her narrative, created visual albums, raised the bar for live performances, and became a global symbol of excellence. Not everyone can or wants to operate at that level of intensity, but Beyonce thrives there. And we can't forget Beyonce is a generational talent with relentless discipline. That dedication she's poured into her craft year after year is very rare, and her success didn't just happen, she made it happen. And in the end, this comparison shouldn't be about who's better, it's about recognizing that Aaliyah walks so maybe Beyonce could run. And Aaliyah redefined what it meant to be a young black woman in music. Elegant, edgy, soft, powerful and smart, she set the tone for a cooler, more conceptual form of R&B, one that Beyonce later explored deeply in albums like For, Beyonce and Lemonade. If Aaliyah had lived, we would likely be talking about two queens ruling in parallel and not one replacing the other. So Aaliyah didn't need 10 albums to make her mark, she was already that girl. And her absence today is very sad because she was so ahead of her time. And Beyonce, on the other hand, built an empire brick by brick over decades. Different roles, but both iconic. And honestly, the world had room for both.